Good afternoon. I hope your sessions this morning have been useful to you. I think I've certainly learned some things. It's really good to see people engaging as well, asking questions. It's been fantastic to be able to invite some genuinely really influential industry bodies to come and partner with us here, because it's really important that collaboration and shared learning is shared throughout the industry to help us address a lot of the issues that we're all facing with our day-to-day construction programs. So as I mentioned this morning, the second half to this will be primarily focused around enhancing local communities. But what does enhancing communities really mean? I mean, surely turning a building that looks like this into a building that looks like this enhances a community. And that's what we do, isn't it? We are in construction, we refurbish buildings. And I know I'm being a bit tongue-in-cheek here, and we wouldn't be working in such extremes. And although the impact that we have through physically enhancing our buildings is not one to be forgotten, generally we try to think about this concept as a more social value concept delivered by outputs and meaningful outputs. So what even is social value? You know, you hear a lot about it meaning multiple different things to lots of different people, and that's because it's complicated. It's such a big thing and part of our industry and a part of lots of other industries. We've got social value champions, we've got heads of social value, we've got data looking at social value. But what is it that we're really trying to measure, and what does it really mean? Some of these things that I've included on here are absolutely right. You know, is it sustainability? Is it giving back to community via charitable ventures, which is a bit more of a philanthropic approach? We do that through a community benefit fund. Is that social value? Yes, of course it is. Is it all of social value? No, not at all. Those project delivery outcomes that we create happier residents. You know, we put new windows into a building, that resident's going to be thrilled with it. Is it trainings? Is it apprentices? Is it fair representation? Is it business sustainability, environmental sustainability, local labour, local economy? Is it that we build thousands of new homes through our offsite framework? Is it that we're helping beat homelessness through the engaging with new building? And really, yes, of course, it's all of these things. And again, I'm still being a bit tongue-in-cheek. And we know that it's these kind of things, and we recognise that this is what we're talking about. But really, having thought a lot about this, social value was a relatively new concept to me when I joined public sector. It was something that I couldn't grasp, and I'd come from a pretty aggressive commercial background. You'd heard it spoke about a bit there, but not really, and I found it difficult to not be able to put a metric against it. Yes, we see metrics that are plastered across promotional activities, particularly through frameworks. You know, £80 million of social value delivered through this framework, where they've put something into a calculator and then spat out a number. But really, when I've been looking at this and looking at the work that we do with our procurement, when we've been leading with our regionally led procurements, what use is this really unless we're measuring effective outcomes, and those outcomes that have a direct impact on our communities? This is a commitment that LHC is taking forward. It's something that you'll hear about this afternoon through different avenues and different channels, and about how we're addressing this through our regional procurements going forward. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that we've got it right yet. We're still working on it. We're still trying to take that leap from arbitrary social value reporting through to defining what those outcomes that really have an impact are, and then working backwards into working out how we can measure that and how we can report on it to see how effective we are in enhancing local communities. But what I can absolutely say to you is that there is a full commitment in moving in this direction, and it's something that we'll be looking at. So later this afternoon, you'll be hearing from a number of different avenues that would probably sit underneath the social value umbrella. However, as I said this morning, just because these social value policies are there under the social value cloak, which is often said, it doesn't mean that it doesn't also impact better buildings. And I just want you to bear that in mind when you're listening to our speakers later on. So we have the LHC Community Benefit Fund, and they do a lot of really good work about local economies and local labour. But our relationship primarily with them is around our Community Benefit Fund. As you'll know from working with us, we're a not-for-profit organisation, and we redistribute any of our surplus that we make at the end of a financial year back into the communities that have engaged with us at a framework level. And we use locality to work with our constituent members to deliver those funds into very specific local projects, which we're really pleased to support. We'll also hear from Construction Youth Trust, who we began engaging with last year. An introduction was made via Southwark Council, and I'm really pleased that it was. They do some fantastic work in working with young people, particularly NEET young people who need support into the construction industry, and how we should be harbouring the skills and how we should be really supporting young people to ultimately address a skill shortage that we will be facing in the construction industry. So you'll be able to hear from the really good work that the Construction Youth Trust do. A slightly longer session later this afternoon is we're having a panel discussion around how can we do better on inclusive procurement. I spoke this morning about the importance of diversity. We have a fantastic diverse panel with lots of experience in working within the sector, and hopefully we'll have a very open, frank, honest discussion about action that we can put in place and things that we can do, even remaining within the procurement restrictions. Maybe I shouldn't call them restrictions, but within the requirements that we have to enable a better, more inclusive, more effective supply chain, which is ultimately better for your business. So anyway, that's enough from me. It's not going to be a long rambling session from me now. I'm going to hand back. I think we've got a little bit of time before the next session starts. I don't think it starts until 1 o'clock. Again, please do engage on the community boards, have a chat with people, and any questions, then do give us a shout. So enjoy, and I'll speak to you soon. Thanks very much.